Hello everyone, good afternoon. We are the Trailblazers and we're going to be presenting to you our business idea for the accounting case. We are actually going to talk about the Pikesville Lightning team and what it is that we're going to present for the off-season. Now, the Pikesville Lightning team fans enjoy baseball for 8 months out of the year, and they have very limited options during the off-season for entertainment within their community. So, as consultants, we were tasked to come up with an idea that would be a great activity for the fans of baseball and as well as everyone in the community to come up with a new initiative that would basically increase revenues for the owner during the off-season. So we were challenged to come up with something that was family-friendly, fun, and safe for the entire community. Now, after doing extensive market research, we realized that we didn't want to do something that was everyone else was doing. So we came up with an idea that was going to be a state-of-the-art snow tubing course, right? So it's winter, it's perfect. Who doesn't like the thrill-seeking excitement? You can go to amusement parks during the summer, but in the winter, you want to slide down a slide at 100 miles an hour and enjoy yourself. So that's basically our idea, and we think that this opportunity, if we implement it into the stadium, it will definitely generate ticket sales. We can definitely sell food and beverage, and as well we can sell the POG or POG ovens. Operationally, the park will be open from November to January, and after research we realized that the peak volume of customers would actually enter the park on Saturdays and Sundays. So on those days, we're actually going to be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then during the week, we're going to be open from Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The time operation is very important to us because we definitely want to keep our costs low, particularly variable costs low. We're going to have significant costs in implementing the actual snow tube course. We're going to have costs for engineering, designing of the actual course, and of course the implementation. Therefore, we definitely have to stay on budget with all of our other expenses because it's going to be a huge cost up front to actually implement the snow tube slides. There will be 10 slides total, and they will actually start from the highest seating level and extend all the way down to the middle of the baseball stadium. It's going to be great, exciting. It's going to take actually 3 weeks to implement the course, actually put in all the construction to actually implement, and then it's going to take 1 week to demolish it after the season is over. So the time that we are going to talk about, financials, we actually take into consideration that month of time, and it's not actually accounted for in our revenue stream when Steven speaks later. As far as market potential, there are certain things that we're looking for in order to make this feasible and a great opportunity for Mr. Storm. One, the local population. We definitely need to have a target market and age range between, I would think, maybe 8 to 10 years old and 35 that is really going to go out there and experience this activity. I don't think an 80-year-old or 50-year-old, maybe so, you never know, I don't want to discredit anyone, but we definitely need to make sure that that is a definite factor that we consider. We want to make sure that there are not any other activities in the area that are similar, that we have much competition. It needs to be conveniently located, and it needs to be an inexpensive, fun family event for the community. In addition to that, this new venture is actually consistent with our current strategy for selling baseball tickets. It's reasonable admissions, and we basically make our profit on selling food and beverage and the ovens. So that's great. In regard to marketing, now it's one thing to have a course, but it's another thing to actually have people come to the course and enjoy it. So marketing, the initial advertising budget is going to be substantial at the beginning because we definitely want the community to be enthused about this new course. And so first thing we're going to do is basically advertise with the local media. We're going to contact radio stations, and we're going to partner up with the DJs to actually come and host events at the park during the season. And secondly, what we're going to do is, in order to generate more and more customers to come to the park, is have other activities at the park that help generate customers that may not even be interested in snow tubing. They may want to just have a player autograph signature. So we're going to have players come to the park to actually host some of these events, and also we can have live music as well. So it's going to be, yes, snow tubing, but there are going to be other activities as well to couple with that to make it enjoyable for people that are not necessarily interested in just snow tubing. And lastly, as a low-cost alternative for marketing, we are going to advertise in the off season, during the baseball season, in the program of the baseball program that's going to have a page advertising the Snow 2 course with prices and a website that can link you to information regarding the course that's going to be open for basically 90 days in the winter. Actually, we did some research with the community, and we had some feedback regarding what they thought of the course and what they think would be, if they thought it would be a good idea or not. So we can go ahead and play that.
Do you think that snow tubing would be a good idea in the off-season at a minor league park?
Even the dog,
Great.
definitely.
So, what do you think about a snow tubing course in the baseball stadium? Sir, what would you think?
How you doing?
What would you think about a minor league baseball stadium turned into a snow tubing course?
Holy freaking cow, that would be amazing! Do I have to wear my shirt?
Yes, you do have to wear your shirt. But so now, we're gonna, Steven's gonna present, we know that it's a great idea, we know that we have support from the community. Now Steven's gonna present the financials.
So I guess enough said, so it's a great idea. Unfortunately, only hot dogs are allowed in the stadium, dogs, aren't allowed. But, so now we'll move on to the financial side of things to show you the numbers behind the proposal. The investments, the expenses, the revenues, and the subsequent profitability of our idea. So start with investments. We already have the stadium and the property that we're going to utilize, so there's no investment there. But we do need to invest in some key equipment that you see up there. These items will be capitalized on the balance sheet, so you won't see them on the income statement. But we'll need things such as slides, snow tubes, snow machines. Okay, so these are our expenses. We have it broken out by our beginning season expenses and our ongoing expenses. And the reason we do this is because the beginning of season expenses, we've actually secured a contract with a local engineering design firm who's going to design, develop, deliver, and deconstruct the snow tubing park. And there's a good reason for this. Rather than investing in it, we're actually going to be expensing it every year. And Paul will speak to that in a little bit. But then you can see the other ongoing expenses that are broken up into the cost of goods sold, SG&A expenses. So sources of revenue, we have two key sources of revenue. Ticket sales, obviously one, and the other being the food and beverage when they're on site. The important thing about the ticket sales, we did some analysis internally, and we also reached out to customers to see what the best way of selling these tickets was. And we came up with the cost structure would be to sell tickets on an hourly basis. We felt like that would help maximize the capacity of the operating hours, and doing so results in increased food and beverage sales. So the way it came up to $486,000, as Gail touched on earlier, there will be 10 slides. We're going to allow 6 people on a slide at a time for safety and liability reasons. And then we're going to be operating at 75% capacity. And we're charging $15 an hour per person. So on the right, you see the variable expenses and the fixed expenses, and on the left, you can see our contribution income statement. The important thing to note here is you can see the contribution margin to cover the fixed expenses and generate profit, and then obviously the bottom line, which is important, the net operating income of $72,900. So our analysis of the contribution income statement. You can see the strength of it. We have over 51% contribution margin ratio, and then we have operating leverage of 4.5 and a margin of safety of 22%. So if you kind of compare that to the POG oven sales, it's a higher contribution margin ratio, a lower operating leverage, and a higher, almost twice that margin of safety. So we feel very confident in these numbers that we'll be able to generate the sales. They're relatively conservative estimates, especially $5 a head on food and beverage. We feel like it probably will be more than that, but we want to be conservative in our estimate.
So I'm going to talk about the implementation timeline right now. As Kyle touched on early in the presentation, we're going to allow the month of September for the design of the course, which we've already actually in real life contacted a snow tubing course designer, and We're going to allow September for the course design, and also we're going to ask local construction companies for bids to actually construct the course itself, and that way we're getting the community involved, we're creating more jobs, and it'll be good for our name as a baseball team and organization. October, we're going to leave open for construction, and November through January, we're open for business, and in February, we're going to be deconstructing the snow tubing course and preparing the field for use at the beginning of the season. There are some potential issues, the first being damage to the field of play, and what we're going to do is consult with the grounds crew who's going to provide us a way to protect the field, and we're going to take their advice and implement that. Secondly is liability issues. You know, if you have people sliding down an icy track with no shirts on, there's potential for freezer burn on your skin. So we're going to consult with a lawyer and an insurance company and make sure we get the right liability waiver and insurance policies to cover any potential accidents or issues that might happen. The baseball team has to train during the off season. So we're actually going to take this negative and make it a positive. We're going to arrange for them to play in different stadiums around the communities and train in different fields around the community and open those practices up for the community to come and watch. And this will generate also hype for the team, make people in the community feel more connected. And so, you know, that's a great thing for our baseball team in the off season. Also, the potential for overcrowding we talked about, we're going to implement a limit on the slides, so that should not be a concern. And also, any inclement weather, we're going to offer rain checks for passes bought on any day that it rains or snows. To keep it sustainable, obviously this might get boring over time, so what we did was budget for a redesign of the snow tubing course every winter, so it's never going to be the same. We're always going to have a new course for people to see with new features. And we're going to implement different side activities each year. For example, the first year we'll have a s'mores fire pit. Second year we're going to have an igloo building area, and so on. We're just going to keep bringing something new and fresh in every single year. We're also going to sell season passes at a discount. That way we can judge our revenue in the future and maybe adjust things accordingly as in consideration of staff and other expenses. We'd also like to sell future season passes at an even higher discounted rate. And with that, I'd like to bring in a member of the Pikesville community that I'd like to speak to you about.
Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.